Welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Planning Board for Westwood. We'll first take a roll call vote and introduce board members and staff. So when I call your name, just say here. Dave Atkins.
Here.
Ellen.
Here.
Kate.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
And I'm Chris Paff. And this meeting is going to be recorded by Westwood Media Center and broadcast live on local cable television, Comcast Channel 12 and Verizon Channel 42. Meetings are also live on the Westwood Media Center's YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining the meeting via Zoom, you can find the login directions in the Planning Board meeting notice that is posted in the calendar section of today's webpage at www.townhall.westwood.ma.us/. We'll begin the meeting with only the board members and staff unmuted and on video. As the chair recognizes individuals to speak, we will unmute them. Board members may choose to mute themselves when they're not speaking in order to minimize background noise. For applications, the chair will first invite the applicant to address the board to give a presentation summarizing what is being requested. Board members received the application materials prior to the meeting and will have reviewed them. Board members may ask questions during and following the presentation. Staff and outside experts will provide comments to the board. If the issue involves a public hearing, the board will then proceed to the public comment portion of the public hearing and will restate the instructions. In this remote meeting format, residents and guests may participate in several ways. Attendees should raise their hand and wait to be unmuted and recognized to speak over the Zoom meeting application or from a telephone dial-up. We will be able to hear you but not see you. Additionally, comments may be submitted by email or regular mail prior to the meeting. When we come to that part of the meeting, I will remind everyone of the process. Following the public comment portion, the board will deliberate a decision or continue the hearing to a specific future date. All remote meetings require that votes be taken by roll call. When a motion and a second has been made, the chair will ask if there's any further discussion before proceeding to a roll call vote, and then we'll restate the results of the vote. Nora, any changes to the agenda tonight?
Yeah, there was one change earlier today. We removed the first item, which was looking for approval of an approval not required plan for 32 Autumn Drive. You may recall that that was on your agenda at the last meeting. An applicant hadn't submitted the necessary property owner authorization forms, and so you found the A&R application incomplete. We had given them until today to file those forms in order for the application to be considered again. They were not filed, so that application has now been closed out, and they'll have to resubmit.
Okay.
So the first and only substantive item on your agenda is the review of draft minutes from April 12th.
All right. Have members had an opportunity to review the minutes from April 12th? And if so, anyone have any changes they'd like to make or recommend?
I had one change that I sent to Nora already.
Yes, there was I made a typo in making a correction. I made the wrong correction to another place. So it's changing the word he to the word the in the motion to close the zoning amendment hearing on page 6 of the minutes. I also corrected the page numbers, which I think in my submitting them, I had messed up the page numbers as well. So that's been corrected.
Great.
All right. Any other edits, recommendations for changes?
Well, I will make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from April 12th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Ellen.
Aye.
Kate.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
I vote aye also. Excuse me, pardon me. So the motion passes. All right. First of all, Nora, I think you addressed it. I read it somewhere. The call-in number for Zoom.
Yes. So I can just report to you that I reported that to Tish Healy. She said she had not received a report about any other meeting where the call-in number was incorrect. She referred it to Donna McClellan, and they are both checking with Zoom. We did double check the links, and the links were as Zoom reported them, so they were properly typed in to the agenda notice and placed on the website according to what Zoom gave us. So we're not sure why there would have been a problem with them, but they are looking into it and hoping it doesn't happen again. I know that that caller had said that this has happened at several meetings she's been to, but apparently none of those other instances have been reported to the select board's office.
Okay. Any updates from committee? Anyone like to share anything? What they've heard in any of the committee meetings they may have attended? I can't see Dave or Tom, so I will rely on you guys to just chime in. Okay, nothing for number 2. Number 3, general miscellaneous updates and administrative items. Nora, I think this.
Yep, so just one. I have the special permit decision ready for the University Station modification of the master development plan. And I just need to know how you'd like to go about signing that. It requires wet signatures, so I can either leave it at the office if that's convenient for you, or I can bring it to the police station and leave the signature page there if you'd prefer that. But I'll need all 5 signatures on that as soon as possible.
I can get to the police station tomorrow night, Nora, if it's there tomorrow night.
Okay,
Yeah, I have a hard time getting in business hours to Carby Street.
okay. If that's
Oh,
all right with everyone.
I can be at Cabby Street in the morning.
All right, well, if you want to come by, Tom, in the morning, and then I will post it at the police station in the afternoon, and anyone else who can make it over there in the afternoon or the evening, please do. And as soon as it's signed, we'll get it recorded with the town clerk, and then they can start their 20-day appeal period.
Okay.
So everyone just try to remember to sign this as soon as you can this week. All right, so that's it for number 3.
That's it.
All right, number 4. I was on the board when Dave was first elected onto the board, and I can honestly say I believe Westwood is a better place for the service of David Atkins on the planning board. Watched him come in with, I think you were doing your blog, and then you traded that in for a seat at the table, and I saw you really take a shine to what we were doing, and I appreciate everything you've done on the board. I think you've been an excellent board member, and we're sorry to see you go. It's definitely going to be a loss. It's going to be hard to fill your shoes, and I appreciate your service to our town.
Thanks, Chris.
So I think, Dave, you first stopped in my office in 2009, looking to create the Pedestrian Bicycle Safety Committee. So you were involved in I don't know, making the town a better place even long before you joined the planning board. And I think you served on the planning board from 2016 until now, and you would chair twice, first in 2018-19 and then again in 2020-21. So I think in your tenure as chair, the big projects were Citizens Bank and Makita in that first go around. And then the second one was when we went into remote mode under COVID. And the big issue, I think, in that second term as chair was the medical use zoning, which we finally got corrected and got through. So thank you for all of your efforts, especially on those different projects.
Well, thanks, Nora.
So Dave, I just wanted to take the chance too to say, my first service position in the town, I think, was on the Pedestrian and Bike Safety Committee that would not have existed without you. So I'm delighted to have served with you on the planning board. Like, I know this is going to sound really silly, but this is so cool to have served with you on the planning board. And
the feeling is entirely mutual, folks. Like it's a really good group here.
Yeah, it's been really great, and I have seen so much of the service that you do for the town. I know there's even more than what I've seen. So I thank you, and I have to say, my kids thank you. Like, you laid a lot of the groundwork for the benefits that they've received through your work. So thanks.
Oh, you're muted, Tom. Sorry. You're on mute.
You need to unmute yourself, Tom.
No wonder you couldn't hear me, David. Probably just as well. I've only, been on the board for a year, I guess. I think a little less than that. But I've been on the other side of the table for a number of years, and I know that you took the board through some very difficult times, and I appreciated that very much, David. And I wish you well.
Thank you, Tom.
My turn. Dave, I remember I was newly back to Westwood, and really starting to pay attention the first year you ran. And I remember I met with you, and I was just very impressed with your forward-thinking vision and commitment and the engagement that you'd already brought, and the visibility that you'd brought to civic engagement through the blog and other things. And I'm thrilled we got to serve together for a year. I appreciate your commitment, both on this board and through other venues, to issues that I personally find important, that I think are also important for the town as a whole. I'm sad that we will not be serving together anymore. And don't be surprised if I call you for advice. And yes, thank you very much for all the time and effort you've put into Westwood through all the channels that you do. And I hope this isn't the last we see of you as far as service goes too.
Excellent. So, yeah, I'm not going to give a big speech or anything. And it's, I think of the tradition of serving the planning board. There's some great folks who've been on this board for many, many years that have done a lot for the town. But I wanted to be on the board initially because of the Islington project. And I felt that by being a part of this planning board, we could make that project better. That it would serve the community better, and that it would get done, and that there would actually, something would come out of all that, because there were a lot of great ideas that had been discussed for many years. So that was kind of the thing that motivated me to actually run for the planning board. And so I think that as that project comes to fruition now, I think people are going to look on that and be very happy with what's happening there. I think that we as a board improved it, and kind of like I said, it also made it possible that there was a lot of things to balance there. And so I think that the fact that what's ultimately going to come there is because of the collective work of this board. And the comprehensive plan is another big thing that I would say. It had been 20 years since the comprehensive plan had been reviewed, and we were able to get that updated, include a section on sustainability and resilience. And it's again and again, I think we'll hear it referenced as things are done in town, keep going back to that plan. I think that that's something I'm proud to have been involved with. And again, it's all, the one thing I've learned from this board, I think, is that, as a working together, when there's 5 members on the same page, you can do anything. And when there's not, I think everyone will need to step back and reassess things. But collectively, it's a much, you can be very effective and effective in our role, which is, not to do the big giant things, but to deal with lots of details. And even some of these meetings where we had that were like 3 hours with a couple of neighbors worried about how some building, their neighbor's work was going to affect their land and all that. We worked through some difficult things that took a lot of time, but it's very important to the people who were involved. So sometimes the planning board does a lot of different things. And so in all those ways, I think it's a great service that everybody should be proud to be a part of. So that's the only thing I would say. The only thing missing, I wish we could have done more with the Gay Street sidewalk, but that's not our thing, really. So
Right.
I'm just happy to think that opinion is shared by a lot of folks here. So just stay tuned. I'm sure that eventually it takes time, and I'd like to see that will happen someday.
Good. Well, thank you again, Dave. We do have a question typed in, and it's from Nada Fabrizio. Once again, neither telephone call-in numbers reflected on this public meeting notice support this meeting. So, sorry about that.
I'll ask Tish and Donna to both follow up on that, but I know those numbers are the numbers that are shown on the Zoom link.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd situation that only happens to us. Does the select board take call-ins?
Yes,
They do.
regularly,
Offer to get call-ins?
fairly
Yes.
regularly.
So it's working.
And the zoning board as well gets frequent call-ins, as does the Conservation Commission. And they don't seem to have any problems with it. So we'll report it and see if there is a problem where we can find out what it is and get it corrected. But in the meantime, we have the ability for anyone to join by their computer and to type into the chat.
Okay. Excuse me. So that's it, right, Nora, for the agenda?
That's it, other than a reminder that we have town meeting on Monday, May 2nd. We're meeting at 6:30 inside at the high school auditorium, and registration opens at 5:30. So we look forward to seeing you all in person.
Okay. And I actually wanted to say just one last thing about this board. It's the last time we're going to meet as this 5-member board. I was nervous last year with 3 members in their first year, and knowing that we were likely going to be taking on this multifamily. I'm really proud to be on this board for everything we accomplished this year. Some pretty dense things that we tackled. Regardless of what may happen at town meeting, I believe we did everything that we've been asked to do as elected officials. So I am really proud to be on this board with the 4 of you. And I'm really impressed with particularly the 3 first-year members and how you guys have done more than hold your own. You took us down that road successfully. So thank you. And then once again, thanks again to Dave for everything. So I just wanted to make that comment, as tonight's our last night meeting together. So anyway, with that, I guess we will take a motion to adjourn. Dave, do you want to make a second or make the motion?
I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll take a roll call vote. Tom?
Aye.
Ellen, excuse me.
Hi.
Kate?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for everything.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Aye.
Have a
So
great
Dave,
night.